Thank you so much for staying with us. This is, well, perhaps I should say thank you so much for being here with us. I'm jumping right in, am I not? You're watching All Angles. I'm Dion Jax Miller. No, throughout the political campaign, we've been talking politics. We've been talking with the commentators and the experts, and they've been great. But we wanted to hear from the so-called regular Jamaicans in terms of how they have been viewing the election campaigns and whether the political parties have been addressing issues important to them. So that's what we have for you over the next hour. First up, I went to speak with two blind Jamaicans, Camille Wilson and Robert Williams. I just want to apologize. There was a little bit of a technical issue with my audio in the interview. Again, I apologize, but fortunately, you'll be able to hear them just fine. We are right at the end of an election campaign. Lots of issues have been talked about. And I want to know whether or not you feel that issues that are important to you have been dealt with in the campaign. Who wants to start?
Okay, I'll start.
Go ahead, Camille.
No, not issues relating to me. For example, in my opinion, I think the issues were generic. Generic meaning it's just issues that people talk about every day regarding disability.
Tell me more what you mean.
For example, people believe that we need grants and handouts, but what we really need are opportunities, for example, and independence. Those are the two things that I would like as a blind person, opportunity and independence.
I think there are a lot of people who would think, oh, giving you grants, because that's what I was hearing being said. We're giving you grants so you can be independent. So I think people are equating the two. So tell me why for you it's not the same thing, or what else you would have wanted to hear or see.
When you give a person living with a disability a grant, many times you give not just them the grant, you give them and their families. Right? Not all persons with disabilities will know what to do with the grant, or not all persons with disabilities will have the independence or the freedom to determine what the grant is allocated for. So let's say the government gave a grant for business. On paper, a person with disability would get the grant, but when the person goes home and they are interfaced with their families or their friends, then many times the grant is turned over to the person, and then the person with a disability lose the autonomy to determine what the grant should be allocated for.
Yeah, for me, well, I'm self-employed at the moment. So I'm on the street pretty often. I buy and sell quizadas and jobs and those stuff, and I go to different business places. So a major problem that I face would be like the infrastructure of the sidewalks and also the accessibility of the crossing and so forth. I remember there was a stoplight right at the transport center that every time you go to cross, there is a bird that comes on and it would start chirping when the light goes on red and give us the opportunity to cross. Over time, I think maybe the battery went out or it stopped working and it was not replaced. So I was looking at this as a game changer, because I think we were supposed to be moving towards having this more replicated across the whole country instead of allowing it to go into disrepair. Also, the light poles in the sidewalks. You know, if you're walking on the sidewalk with your cane and a light pole is there, sometimes you can't even find ways to go around it. You have to literally step down into the road where the traffic is. And if I'm a blind person having that issue, I can imagine that these sidewalks with the light posts, a person in a wheelchair won't be able to traverse them.
And you are sharing with me before we started recording that you yourself have had accidents.
Yes, I've had accidents where, you know, where I'm walking and I was told that the cover for the manhole was stolen through to scrap metal and some other reasons. And I just walked in and I just found myself fell down into the hole and I had to be taken to the hospital to get stitches and all of those stuff. So sometimes we want to basically be mindful that persons with disability just want an environment that is free from these issues so that we can go about our natural business independently.
So Camille, for you then, what more do you think parties should have done in terms of engaging with the community and really hearing your issues and responding to them?
I think they should have started their focus discussions, group discussions earlier. And not just consult us when election is coming, keep interacting with us. And I must say, Dr. Nigel Clark, I have been speaking about him for a very long time now. He, in my opinion, is one of the most accessible minister the persons living with disabilities have had. For example, regarding the money, I was speaking about the money. He listened to us. We explained the issue that we have with not being able to identify the different denominations. He listened to us, he did his research, and he solved the problem. So we would prefer if we are continuously being engaged, listened to objectively, and get things implemented for us.
Explain that a little bit more from our viewers. So what was the problem with the money and what is it like? So what's the kind of difference it is for you in your daily life?
So the old money had no markings. So it was just a piece of paper.
Meaning nothing you could feel?
Nothing we could feel.
Well, some blind persons would have argued that there was something on it, but it was so faint that only very few persons with sensitive fingers could pick it up.
Okay.
And also, because it's paper, it would wear out very easily.
For example, the US money, to us, it's just a piece of paper. However, the new money that Dr. Clark implemented, with his team, of course, has different markings that are designed for persons living with blindness to identify the money. So as a result of that now, it gave us independence. Mm-hmm. Remember, I was talking to you about independence. Mm-hmm. So therefore, we don't have to ask persons to identify the denominations for us. Even when we are on the streets, we are doing business, someone is giving us change. We don't have to trust them to say, okay, what is this? We don't have to be anxious. There is no anxiety. We can use those markings on the money to actually know the denominations and what we are getting.
All right, I have some of the new money here.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Okay, all right. So let me give you an example. Okay, for example, this is a $2,000.
Tell us how you know that.
Hold this. Hold it.
Okay. Okay.
So this graven here, this raised dot, that's a triangle. The $500 has the X. The $1,000 has the circle.
I say Robert did one. Which one you have, Robert?
This one is a $50.
Okay.
And what was the beauty? This one here is a $1,000. This one.
Yeah.
And this one is a $500. This one.
The X.
The X. So what's the beauty of these new money? Oh, and this one is $100. What's the beauty about these monies also that it's printed on a plastic material, I think they call it polymer.
Yes.
So whenever you put tactile printings in this type of material, it stays for a really long time and it's way more durable.
It doesn't wear out.
It doesn't wear out.
Okay.
And even if it does wear out over time, you still can feel the tactile markings distinctly.
So you had said then that Dr. Clark had listened to you.
Yes,
So had he
to the
actually
disabled.
personally met with the community?
Yes.
Yes, he had.
Yes, he
With the
had.
Jamaica Society.
The Jamaica Society for the Blind, he personally met with us and listened to us and implement what we needed.
And would love for, there to be more inclusiveness in the decision making in the society going forward.
Yes.
Give me an example of something else, because after I say both of you have your hands up, okay? Because after the general election on September 4, we're all going to get up and still have a country to run. So no matter who runs, who wins, tell me what you want to see implemented. Let me go with Robert first and then come here.
Well, as you mentioned about the general election, I think two things that they should focus on is getting us as disabled persons, well, preferably blind persons, to vote more independently. Because what I understand happens is that in order to vote, you'd have to take somebody with you to the polling station to mark that X for you. And Camille probably can explain that even better than me.
So like you haven't voted her, but she has.
Chief, I haven't voted, and that was going to go to my second point, where alright, as I say, I'm in the streets, so, persons from both sides of the political fence would be assisting me. So you can imagine on election day when now the hustle and bustle, persons tend to treat persons with disability with a little bit less dignity than usual and things. So I was basically suggesting that the area that we want to go into is to allow us to vote more personally, like, mail-in votes or, technology is increasing. I'm pretty sure that with the increase in technology, we should be able to vote from the comfort of our home on a computer or something where our vote is private. Or even the suggestion of allowing disabled persons to vote on the special service election day where there's less fanfare and you would have more privacy if you should go to the polls and so.
The next Prime Minister and Minister of Justice that come into office, we as blind persons would love the opportunity to vote independently. Currently, we have to ask persons to vote for us. And
Somebody comes in and marks the X.
And that's an issue. Because technically, we did not vote. So one person was awarded 2 X and 1 none. Because, Dion, let's face it, we're all human beings. And there is not 100% guarantee with persons who you ask to vote for you. We would hope that they honor our wishes, and maybe most do, but it's not foolproof.
Okay.
In other jurisdictions, persons are voting. It can be done. My friends in Ghana, Nigeria, and India vote independently. They have what is called a tactile ballot system. They use that system to vote.
That's like braille on the ballot.
No, just as how they have the markings with the money.
Okay.
The markings, for example, the name of the party would be in braille, or the name of the candidate. And then, of course, the symbols would be raised.
Okay.
So you are able to feel whether the bell or the head or whatever symbol is there. Then there will be a space, and then you'll mark the X. But this is important. It's a jacket. So the ballot would go into the jacket. And wherever the space is to put the bell, there is basically a hole, and then you would mark your X on it. So when you take it, remove it from the ballot guard, it's just an ordinary ballot.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want for blind persons to have a specific type of ballot, because then that will put you in the position of persons can isolate that this ballot was marked by a blind person. So it's better to have the jacket to put it in, and then by you putting it into that jacket, it becomes visible to us. We mark whatever we mark on it, and then when you take it out, it's a regular ballot, and it will just get lost in the regular ballot. So persons wouldn't be able to pinpoint that, oh, this is X constituency and polling division, so maybe it's that person voted this way, and so.
Okay, I'm out of time, so let me just ask each of you in 5 seconds. So the voting is one thing. What else would you want a new government to prioritize? Robert, you first. 5 seconds.
I'd like them to prioritize having greater job opportunities for persons with disabilities. And what we do find is that for some persons who decide to offer job opportunities to persons with disabilities, they specify like persons who could see but in a wheelchair or something like that. I believe in inclusivity for all. There's a technology there to make working in the working space accessible for us.
Come here. 5 seconds.
For both Prime Minister prospect to honor the wish by ensuring that 5% of government jobs are allocated for persons living with disabilities.
Okay, thanks so much to Robert and Camille. And what you say, I say as a country, let's make that a resolution by our next general election. Let's have our blind Jamaicans voting independently, honestly. All right, so when we come back after the break, we're going to be hearing from Trey Rodney. He's a second-year student of economics at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. Soon come.